1. We have reached a tipping point. Space debris is increasing exponentially due to the chain reactions and will destroy satellites. Career, December 1st, 2011. Efforts over the past 2 decades to mitigate the growth through changes in the design and operation of launch systems and satellites have given way to new concern. The increasing risk of collision between existing debris in Earth orbit. The prospect of new debris from collisions between existing space junk has reached a tipping point, according to NRC, which urged a re-examination of internationally recognized restrictions that prevent any one nation from sweeping away the debris from another country's spacecraft. This evidence is important because it shows that space debris is multiplying rapidly and that will harm and destroy satellites and rockets that enter space. 2. Space debris risks accidental nuclear war with Russia. Lewis 2004. This is the second of 2 scenarios that consider how U.S. space weapons might create incentives for America's opponents to behave in dangerous ways. The previous scenario looked at the systematic risk of accidents that could arise from keeping nuclear weapons on high alert guard against space weapons attack. This section focuses on the risk that a single accident in space, such as a piece of space debris striking a Russian early warning satellite, might be catalyst for accidental nuclear war. As we noted in the earlier section, the United States canceled its own ASAT program in the 1980s over concerns that the development of these weapons might be establishing. For all the talk about new relationships between the United States and Russia, both sides retain thousands of nuclear forces on alert and configured to fight a nuclear war. This evidence is important because it shows that the space debris will cause an accidental nuclear war that will lead to extinction. 3. U.S.-Russia war caused extinction. Washington 2002. A much greater existential risk emerged with the buildup of nuclear arsenals in the U.S. and USSR. An all-out nuclear war was a possibility with both a substantial probability with consequences that might have been persistent enough to qualify as a global and terminal. There was a real worry among those best acquainted with the information available at the time that a nuclear Armageddon would occur, and that would annihilate our species or permanently destroy human civilization. Russia and U.S. retain large nuclear arsenals that could be used in future confrontation, either accidentally or deliberately. Unfortunately, we shall see that nuclear Armageddon or comet or asteroid strikes are preludes to the existential risk that we encounter in the 21st century. This is important because it shows that right now, U.S. and Russia contain the strongest and largest position of nuclear weapons, and if the space debris accidentally provokes one of the countries, it will lead to nuclear war and extinction. 4. Currently, there is a large amount of space debris putting satellites in danger. And so, 2010. There are currently hundreds of millions of space debris fragments orbiting the Earth at speeds up to 7 kilometers per second. The indiscriminate nature of orbital mechanics means they pose continuous threats to all assets in the Earth's orbit. There are now roughly 300,000 pieces of space debris large enough to completely destroy operating satellites upon impact. This evidence is important because it shows that hundreds of millions of space debris would largely damage our space assets. Space assets, for example, satellites. Condition to harm. 1. Space debris is the biggest threat for our shuttles and space satellites. Kelly, March 5th, 2005, Space.com. Tiny rocks, paint flecks, and other fragments of junk whiz around the Earth pose the greatest threats to shuttles and the astronauts aboard, according to the preliminary results of a new NASA study. This is evident because it shows that space debris is the biggest threat that has caused great damage for shuttles and satellites. 2. Space debris is a big threat that will inherently grow worse without intervention. More debris cause more collisions. 3rd, March 8, 2009. We are entering an era of debris control, an era that will dominate a slow increasing number of random catastrophic collisions. These collisions will eventually spread to other countries. These control measures will significantly increase the cost debris control measures. This evidence is important because it shows that there will be catastrophic collisions that will eventually affect everyone. With these issues in mind, we offer the following plan. The United States federal government should substantially increase its funding for programs that remove space debris. Military Solvency 1. This can produce many benefits and solve. Delhi, October 26, 2011. The military has awakened in a big way to benefit of all space satellites. They have a few things in common: lightweight, low cost, and expendable. They owe their existence to recent advantages in nanotechnology and microcircuitry. This evidence is important because it shows that not only our plan can, not only solve space debris, it can also produce benefits from the military. 2. Satellites are key to the nation's national security. David Cabosa, 2006. Military forces are perhaps the most dependent upon space-based communication systems to essential information services to support land, air, sea, and space operations. The DoD currently uses military satellites communications. New military communication satellites expand as new weapons systems are fielded and new bandwidth-intensive applications are created. Unmanned aerial vehicles, such as secured video conferencing and encrypted command and control operations, will add on to this overall increase in bandwidth demand. This evidence is important because it shows that our plan will also support communications for land, sea, air, and space operations, because if we solve space debris, there will be no collisions, which will make the U.S. military stronger, and that will lead to global peace. For these reasons, above, we urge a affirmative vote.
First exam. So the Jahi.
No, it's like
So it's okay, right?
it's Byron.
It's in there.
I thought they changed the.
Yeah, they changed their.
They don't change the first exam.
They
No,
changed.
cost
They changed
exam
all the
issues
names.
next, so it's supposed to be.
Oh yes, this is correct.
4 minutes, huh? Isn't it? 2 minutes or 4 minutes?
Two.
Two.
2 minutes.
Judges ready?
Yeah.
One's ready. I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Are you aware that on February 12th, there are two satellites that collided 491 miles above Earth, and it basically shattered hundreds of millions of pieces of debris.
What?
There was an incident where satellites crashed during February 12th. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
And that was quite a while ago. Are you aware that there was no basic economic impact?
You mean that the damage didn't cost?
Are you aware that these two satellites crashed? Did it cause any economic problems?
Did it?
Like,
You say
did it,
that-
what was its impact aside from creating space debris?
But then if you create space debris, that's more debris, and our plan is to clean it up and remove it from space.
No, but did the debris cause any problems?
Yeah, it could have, because it could affect later on. If
In
other,
3 years, did it cause any new crashes?
I don't know.
Did any of that debris destroy anything?
You mean the. Do you have the next question?
Okay, moving on. What technology are you planning to use?
Like there are these like there are these lasers that go up to and then take like space debris.
Like go up, as in above
It's like space based.
in space?
Yeah.
So-
And then there's
Are you gonna create more space debris by launching those lasers in the first place?
no.
So after you shoot the space debris, what is that gonna do? How is that gonna destroy it?
And there's this other technology that goes up to space. It takes the space debris away, brings it back to the Earth.
Now, I know. Shoot.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Topicality, critique, spending disadvantage, political disadvantage, and two counterplans.
And what?
The two counterplans.
Political and then
Counterplans.
what? Before political.
Spending disadvantage.
Funding and
Judges, are you ready? Opponents, are you ready?
yeah.
Timer, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Topicality, opposite from the negative. Overview. Affirmative plan must fall within the topic of a resolution to be valid. A. Definition. Affirmative plan is non-topical because the valid the words increase in the resolution. According to Buckley 2006, increase requires making an already program greater. Because increase means to make something greater, there must necessarily have been an existing premium to determine whether an increase occurred under usual canons of sanitary construction. The term increase should be constructed to apply an increase to increases of an already existing policy. Violation. Affirmative plan doesn't require an already existing program, and that violates the topic because increase requires pre-existent, but the affirmative creates something new. Reasons to prefer our definition. 1. Bright line. Our definition is better because it provides a clear number definition, whereas a affirmative definition is vague. 2. Predictability. Affirmative interpretation forces the negative to debate issues that are impossible to prepare for. 3. Famous intent. Our definition is better because it is more accurate representation of what the framers meant. Voting issues. Jurisdiction. It's not within your jurisdiction to vote for a non-topical case. A judgment only vote on cases that are topic to the resolution. Ground. Education. Debate is supposed to be about education. We can learn only by being able to debate cases that we can prepare for and argue effectively. You as a judge should not vote for cases that impede education rather than promotes it. And also, according to Kupferberg 1987, reasonability as an answer is bad. The number of plans brought up with these broader topics as in the number of proposals depended on the tangential or tenuous relationship to the resolution. Often these challenges sprang to dearth of other salient arguments, but equally often there was a valid question to be asked. Unfortunately, in the early days of the topicality boom, it was all too easy for affirmatives to postulate their frequently bizarre definitions and mentally dismiss negative objections to them with the incantation, we need only to be reasonable. Therefore, if the affirmative says they meet reasonability, please throw them out. U.S. space hegemony critique. Like the U.S. relies on space for security. According to Everett Dolman Professional 2010, stable U.S. hegemony of U.S. dominance has relied on technology dominant power, global power projection. Today, that technology is wholly integrated for space support, and no state relies more on space power for its economic and security well-being than the U.S. Any effort to deny space capabilities will be a direct challenge to its hegemonic power. This shows that space capabilities maintain U.S. hegemony. Impact. American hegemony destabilizes international security. According to Vanderlyn 2009, an important consequence within the United States is the reduction of international security. Many perceive the United States as a threat and doubt its intention. This distrust weakens international cooperation. This shows that U.S. hegemony will jeopardize international security. Alternative. In the affirmative plan, the U.S. is seen as a decision maker. The alternative is instead the U.S. be the decision maker, let the UN be the decision maker to prevent U.S. hegemony. Many UN-affiliated countries have programs to go into space. According to England 2011, as the United States rebounds from space programs, we're trying to show that here's what other countries are doing at the time. Russia has always emphasized the manned spaceflight, but is currently putting a satellite system in place to rival the GPS system. India's 48-year-old space program reflects its growing global ambitions and is a source of enormous national prestige. Israel is a leading country in the number of orbiting satellites, 13, and it is the smallest country with its own launching capabilities. Japan's space agency has 1/10 of the budget of NASA, curtailing the program's broadest ambition. This evidence shows that the UN has space agencies that are going to be capable of supporting space program. Spending disadvantage. Uniqueness. Currently, the U.S. is on the brink of another recession. According to Krasha, April 2011, economist Sterling says we're still headed for recession this year. Despite the recent euphoria of investments over U.S. stock, the economy is likely to weaken as the year progresses. For example, electricity generation are falling rapidly. U.S. rail shipments and trade are declining. This shows that U.S. is already headed for recession with declining trade. The affirmative plan will uniquely cause direction in the current economy. According to Radar 2008, government spending hikes in the 1930s, 1960s, and 1970s have all failed to increase economic growth rates. Every dollar Congress injects into the economy must be first taxed or borrowed. There is no immediate stimulus for government spending since the money has to be removed from another part of the economy. Economic impact can take decades to occur. This shows that historic governments have failed to increase economic growth rates, and we are about to endure the same economic collapse, and affirmative plan will only push it further. Impact. In the end, affirmative plan will cause economic collapse and even wars. According to February 2008, if America now try to move off from the world stage, it will leave a dangerous power vacuum. Rogue states may choose to become ever more reckless with their nuclear toys just at a moment of maximum vulnerability. China's perhaps even more fragile. Its economic growth depending heavily on foreign investment and foreign markets. This shows that America's hegemony withdrawal will not only destroy the U.S. economy, but cripple the China's as well. An affirmative plan which causes nuclear war will only make it faster. Political disadvantage. Uniqueness. Currently, Obama is willing to make substantial cuts. According to September 2012, Obama was willing to make substantial cuts in order to get deficit reduction deal to maintain current tax rates. Obama is committed to. This shows that Obama is committed to short-term spending cuts over stimulating the economy. Link. The affirmative plan will neatly cut damage to Obama's electability and kills the economy. According to Trump in 2011, without significant spending cuts and changes, there will be no increase in the debt limit. This shows that affirmative plan will weaken the government without significant spending cuts. In fact, in the end, Obama will be out of the political capital and lose the election. According to Clinton in 2011, a bunch of disheartening economic data threatening to squelch President Barack Obama's political vulnerabilities and fires up the 2012 re-election bid. Obama risks entering election year with the unemployment rate. That is dangerous. That is a dangerous scenario for any president, as American voters show in election after election that the economy drops under the top president. This shows that a weakening economy will greatly affect Obama's re-election. Thus, he will not support the affirmative plan. With these issues in mind, we read a negative offer the counterplan. Counterplan. ESA should create and fund space debris removal program. Condition 1. Counterplan legitimacy. 1. Our counterplan is not topical. Our counterplan does not fall under the topic of resolution since our counterplan is counter-agent. 2. Our counterplan is competitive. Our counterplan is mutually exclusive. It cannot be combined with the affirmative plan since ESA is not under the jurisdiction of the government. 3. Our counterplan produces net benefits. Our counterplan gets rid of the harm inflicted on affirmative case and there are satellites committing increasing satellite. Condition 2. Counterplan solvency. Our counterplan solves. 1. Clean up space debris. According to Business Insider 2012, to combat this growing headache, Swiss scientists and engineers have announced the launch of Clean Space 1, a project to build up space. Clean Space 1 is being designed and built at the Swiss Space Center as part of the Swiss Federal Institute for Technology. This shows that Swiss Space Center has already developed a debris removal program. Condition 3. Counterplan harm. The opportunity cost for not adopting to our counterplan is 1. The affirmative plan will illegally cause damage to the current economy. According to Radio 2008, government spending cuts in 1930, 1960, and 1970 all failed to increase economic growth rates. Every dollar Congress injected into the economy must be first taxed or borrowed. There is no immediate stimulus for government spending since that money has been removed from another part of the economy. Economic impact in the decades to occur. This shows that historic governments have failed to increase economic growth rates, and we are about to endure the same economic collapse, and affirmative plan will only push it harder. With these issues in mind, we don't affirmative offer the second counterplan. Counterplan. The international private sector should create and fund space debris removal program. Condition 1. Counterplan legitimacy. 1. Our counterplan is not topical. Our counterplan does not fall under the topic resolution since our counterplan is not. It's counter-agent. 2. Our counterplan is competitive. Our counterplan is mutually exclusive. It cannot be combined with the affirmative plan since our agent is private sector and we don't limit the plan to US only. 3. Our counterplan produces net benefits. Our counterplan gets rid of the harm inflicted on affirmative case and there are satellite security and increasing satellites. Condition 2. Counterplan solvency. 1. Our counterplan solves. 1. Clean up space debris. According to Lucien 2012, the Swiss Space Center is launching Clean Space 1 generator satellites designed to clean up space debris. The design and construction of Clean Space 1 as well as maiden space voyage will cost about 10 million Swiss francs. That's depending on the funding and industrial partners. The first voyage could take place within 3 to 5 years. Swiss scientists are not alone in attempting to clean up space debris. This shows that Swiss Space Center has already developed a debris removal program. They're facing lack of funding. 2. Military can be enhanced by private sector. According to Walker 2011, our military needs can be enhanced by competition. As launch costs come down because of efficiencies that commercial providers bring to the market, traditional contractors will have to find ways to lower their costs as well. The vigorous competitors among providers launching satellite will mean a brighter industry within the capacity to contribute more to the national economy and the national defense. Commercial space entrepreneurs appear to have it's 8 minutes. Appear to have a better grasp of the complex formula of resources, risk, and technology. What? 1 minute?
No, it's 8 minutes.
It's 8 minutes. Since technology shows that private sector will contribute to the efficiency of the military and benefit the economy. Condition 3. Counterplan harms. Our opportunity cost for not adopting our counterplan is 1. Economic collapse causes extinction. According to Carbon 2008, we cannot afford risk repeating the Great Depression. It's important that we avoid all these policy errors. The Great Depression didn't end until the most destructive war in history, in the world of nuclear and biological weapons. Another global economic breakdown would risk armed conflicts on an even greater scale. This shows that negative counterplan will save the world from another economic collapse and extinction from nuclear war. 2. Space debris hurts the economy causing wars. According to Moore 2009, though Earth's orbit becomes so cluttered with metal that new satellites cannot be safely launched, the global economy which is greatly dependent on a variety of assets and space collapses. The country of the world head back to 1950 style way of life. That's a recipe for malnutrition, starvation, and wars with resources. This shows that the capability of satellites could lead to an incompetent economy leading to wars. Therefore, for the following reasons, please vote for the negative.
First exams.
Jeremy, and Disney.
Wait, isn't it Alan?
Isn't it
It's
Alan?
Alan.
It's
Did
Alan.
you guys switch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then it's Alan. Wait, how many minutes?
2.
Are you ready? You two will go. Wait, can you repeat the agents for your counterparts?
ESA and international private sector.
International, does that include your ESA?
It includes all of the world.
Does that include US government or the US doing it?
But it includes like the decision of all of the world. Like everyone has to agree.
So if one country doesn't agree, your counterpart does not work.
No.
They're private companies.
They're private companies.
So what is the status of your counterpart?
Both conditional.
What does that mean?
Means I'll pick it if you can solve that. If you can prove that, you can produce that method.
Is that fair to us?
It's educational because it shows that you have to research a lot and it's strategic and you can make decision in which you want to draw. Because decision making is an important part of
And
childhood.
And you'll say that you said that our plan will cause. You said that U.S. hegemony will destabilize the economy or space, like for your critique.
Yes, that's the impact.
But do you know that if one country is strong, it will lead to global peace because you cannot have two.
If one country is strong, then other countries will be fighting for the leadership. So it's very risky for one country to take all the decision making. If you agree, then there won't be any conflicts.
Wait, so Byron, your first counterpart is ESA. That's
No, our first counterpart is international private sector.
I thought you said the first one was Europe, Spain.
Yes, but yeah, it's just like counterpart orders. But
So your second one is the
international private sector, ESA.
For both? Each. We don't talk about star issue unless if you don't come together. Okay, when they can work with simply focus on how they can integrate our relation is obvious. Star issue without star issue only.
okay.
전화기를 만들어야 내가 오늘 나중에 플러그인을
Right now,
You
we
need
need
prep
to
time.
focus on,
That's
just
4
focus on the content.
4 minutes? You can have 4 minutes of prep time.
What's the temperature?
I'm waiting for.
Excuse me?
What's the temperature? Where do you
I'm waiting
go?
for
26.
You gotta make it like lower, like all the way down.
Okay.
I'm falling asleep.
20 feet down.
So,
Jesus.
you need to
That's not.
change it up, make it cool. I'm really
18 is really cold.
The next person,
Jared.
Okay. Judges are ready. Timers are ready. Yeah. Debaters are ready.
Yeah.
Examples. First, I'll counterplan, then political DA, then I'll extend my inherency, policy, and event. Okay, good job. Ready, set, go. First, counterplan. We will military counterplan because if the United States federal government will work with the ESA, then it will have more advantages. So it's easier to clean up space debris, and if they work with the private sector, it will also be easier to clean up the space debris. Next, political data. Our plan won't cause the U.S. to like fall because if we don't solve space debris, and then when the U.S. send more satellites up, then more satellites will get destroyed, and that will make the economy even worse. So that's why we have to do the affirmative plan. Okay, now I extend. The number of drones the satellite must perform increase each week. Their rate is clock 2010. Even if the guidelines will follow to the letter, the number of debris fragments would still go up. We could even stop launching, and the amount of debris would still rise. Said Kai Lewis of the University of saw them how in the UK. That's because accidental collision will still happen. A piece of space debris is seen approaching satellite operations can move their bird out of the way. Such ducking and dodging used to be there not any longer. A few years ago, operation was received 1 or 2 more warnings of space debris a month. Now it can be 2 or 3 times a week. Even every time a new warning comes in, they must begin a 72-hour tracking campaign using ground-based radar to refine the orbit around. This evidence is important because it shows that we need a solve in part 1. The threat of satellite destroyed the U.S. ability to use its military, with no step to South 11. There are currently hundreds of millions of space debris fragments orbiting the Earth at speeds of up to several kilometers per second. Although the majority of these fragments result from the space activities of only 3 countries, China, Russia, and the United States. The industrial nature of orbital mechanics means that the pose of continuous threat to all assets in Earth's orbit. Now there are roughly 300,000 pieces of space debris large enough to completely destroy operating satellites upon impact. These uncontrolled growth of space debris threaten the ability of satellites to deliver the service humanity has came to rely on its day-to-day activities. For example, global position system, GPS, position, time, and aggregation signals are a significant component of the modern global economy, and if GPS fail, could disturb an emergency response service, cripple global banking systems, and interrupt electric power grids. Satellite enable military capabilities such as GPS, precision guide missions, and are critical enablers of current U.S. military and tactics. This evidence is important because it shows that we have to do affirmative plan to take away the space debris. And 2, the amount of space debris in the air is enough to cause accidental collisions. Arsenal 2010. The second major space debris creating event was the accidental collision between an active Iron satellite, a default Russian military satellite, on February 10, 2009. The collision created 2 debris clouds holding more than 200,000 pieces of debris. It was the first time 2 instant satellites accidentally crashed into orbit, challenging the big sky theory, which assets that the brightness of space makes the chance of a collision between 2 orbit satellites negligible. A random use of collision of 66 satellites to provide voice and data service to 300,000 subscribers globally. Nevertheless, the event was highly significant as it demonstrated that the current population of space objects is already sufficient to lead to accidental collision, which in turn can lead to the creation of more space debris and increased risk of Operation Space System. This type of progressive space debris growth is worrisome. This evidence is because it shows that we have to take away space debris, we have to solve space debris so that there won't be more collisions. Recent satellite crashes bringing space jump problem into public eye. The news that the failed Russian Mars probe will come crashing back to Earth in the next few days, reinforcing a growing public perception that the sky is hot. That huge piece of space junk could rain down on us at any time. Russian officials estimate that the 14.5-ton Voskhod spacecraft, which became stuck in Earth's orbit slowly after its November 8 launch, will re-enter the atmosphere sometime between Saturday and Monday. It will be the third uncontrolled satellite re-entry in the form of following NASA's default UIR